So somebody asked for more help with the scrapbook project part one. Part two is due this week, right? And that's what we've been working on in class. Somebody asked for some help with scrapbook part one, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of help if you want it. So part one is back in week 8. I don't know if you notice these. The orange ones are from first quarter. These white folders are second quarter. So under week 8, there's where you're supposed to put your group names. There's where you're supposed to do the project. There's where you're supposed to do video and a reflection. Here's the project. When you open it up, there's instructions in here, and we're going to use that. There's math tips. We're going to use that. And there's computer formatting tips. We're going to use that. We're also going to use the actual template that I made for you guys, the Google slideshow that I made for you that you can type your information in. So I'm going to go ahead and open up all 3 of these because we're going to need them at different times. Boop. And boop. So when you click on the computer formatting tips, the beauty of that is that it shows you some tricks that I'm about to use here in a minute. Shows you how I like to do a screenshot, which is this Windows button on your keyboard and Shift and S. You hit them all at the same time. So I always do Windows, hold it down, Shift, hold it down, and then type S real quick, and then it takes a screenshot. This is how I like to do copy and paste. There's lots of ways, but this is what I like. And then this will be some tips on how to type things like infinity if you want to. Unfortunately, you cannot do it in a Google slide, but you can do it in Google Doc and then screenshot it. And these are the instructions. We will use that information in a minute. These are some tips. So when you click on the math tip sheet, these are some math tips to help you with this. If you forget about domain and range or how to use it, you can click on this video, you can click on this website, or you can look at Miss Flannery's short version. Domain, you always write what's left and then right. Range is how far it goes low and then high. And you put a bracket next to the numbers that it actually touches. And you'll always put a parenthesis on positive or negative infinity. Okay. Y-intercept, there's some info about that. Slope of a line, there's some info about that, and a reminder that it's rise over run. And x-intercept, where it crosses the x-axis. And here's some ideas on how to do that. Okay. So computer formatting tips, math tips, and then here's the actual instructions. So in the instructions, it says that you're going to create a digital scrapbook where you're kind of going to decide which family each equation is in. And if you read these instructions, that's what it says. There's 12 graphs. There's 12 equations at the bottom of this paper, and you're going to put them into categories. And the categories, the algebraic model that they're in would be linear, absolute value, quadratic, or cubic. And each type has 3 graphs that will go with it. And part 1 was supposed to be due last Sunday. You can still do it. Yes, you can still do it. Look, COVID, everything's crazy. You can still do it. It's just going to be missing until you do it. Here's the 12 equations at the bottom of the paper. It's somehow formatted weird, and I'm sorry. I kind of want to fix that, but I'll deal with that later. So let's just start with 1 and go from there, okay? So I'm going to start with negative 2x plus 1, number 1. Well, let's go into Desmos.com so that we can have the graph. Desmos.com, graphing calculator. And you're going to want to sign in. I already did sign in, so I'll show you what it looks like. If you haven't signed in, you're either going to hit login if you create an account, or sign up if you've never created one. If you've never created one, you do a little something like this, and then hit sign up with Google, yada, yada. I have already created one, so I'm going to log in with Google. And my yada, yada was so fast. Look at that. So now if I wanted to, I can save things. I could title this, digital scrapbook project Parklin, right? And then I can just, when I do stuff, I can hit save. So that equation was, what was it? Negative 2x plus 1. Negative 2x plus 1. There is my graph. I like the point. Now I got to figure out, what do I actually need for this? I did it. I graphed it. Woohoo. So I'm going to have both of these open for a second so I can see on both sides. There we go. So what do I need to do? Well, first of all, what kind of a graph is it? Is it linear, absolute value, quadratic, or cubic? Why? It's a line. So it's in this section, linear equations. So I need the following. I need slope, y-intercept, domain, and range. Okay, well, let me go into my actual project. It's the Google slideshow. Open it up. I may or may not have already done this one, an example 2 minutes ago in a video I was making. So, you know what? Let me just ignore that for a second. Gone. So I need a picture of this graph. And I also, what did it also say I needed? Domain, let's see, a list of following. Slope, y-intercept, domain, and range. Okay, let me write that down. Slope, y-intercept, domain, range. Got it. And of course the graph. So y-intercept is this guy. So what if I just go ahead and take a picture of it with that labeled? Okay. And again, this is how I like to do screenshots. And there's directions on how to do a screenshot like that under the computer formatting tips. Those are the buttons that you would push. Okay. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste. And I like Control V to paste. Bada boom. I'm going to take a picture of this equation since I already typed it in here. Bada bing. Bada boom. It's an equation. Okay, so this is the equation. There's my graph. Now it says I need the slope, y-intercept, domain, and range. Okay, slope. More than one way to find the slope. If you forget how to find slope, go to the math tips sheet. Okay, and there's some helpful tips on how to find the slope. You can click on any of these, but I'm going to use the one that says rise over run. Right. So I'm going to go. Okay, I got a point here. I don't like this one because it's a decimal. So is this another one? Is there one down here? Pretty sure there is. Oh, so close. Yeah, 1, -1. Okay, so let me type that in. 1, comma, -1. I'm going to label it. And there was another point up there. It was 0, 1. So now I can see them. Makes it a little bit easier to figure out how far down it goes to get to them. So I go down 2, right 1. Did you see that? Down 2, right 1. So rise over run. Down 2 divided by right 1. That is -2. So my slope is -2. Now, honestly, I already knew that by looking at the equation because it's right here. mx plus b, baby. Right? So my slope is, I'm going to type it in here. My teeny tiny slope is -2. My y-intercept is 0, 1, right? Where it crosses the y-axis. 0, 1. My domain. Domain is how far right and left the graph goes when you're looking at it. That's not the definition, but that's one way to find it. So it goes, looks like it goes left forever and it goes right forever. So it's a forever. So negative infinity to infinity. One option, and if you don't want to write negative infinity, you can just say all real numbers. Or you can get all fancy and try and type infinity. Typing infinity is tricky on a computer, but one way you can do it is inside a Google document. Can't do it in slides, but you can do it in a doc and then screenshot it, and I'll show you how to do that if you forget what I'm about to show you that's in this document, okay? So I'm going to open up a new document. So new tab, docs, +1. Now I'm going to name this whatever I want to name it. I'm going to use scrap sheet of paper because I'm not keeping this for anything. It's just I'm going to use it so I can type stuff on it. Scrap sheet of paper or scratch work, whatever you want to call it. Okay. This is not going to turn this piece of paper in. I'm going to zoom in a bit, but here we go. You need to go to Insert, and you're going to scroll down until you see Equation. Then all of a sudden, you'll see these little buttons have now appeared out of nowhere since you hit that equation menu. And in those little buttons, there are different math symbols. There's Greek letters, there's miscellaneous operations, there's relations, math operations, and arrows. So if you click on them, you can see what's in them. And this is what I want, infinity and beyond. And it typed it. Ta-da. Now I'm going to make it bigger so that I can see a little bit better. Hey, do what I want. Bigger, 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 bigger. Make it whatever size you want. So I want to say it goes from negative infinity to infinity. Let's type that again. Boom. Parentheses. There is my domain. Screenshot it. Remember, I do Windows Shift S. Paste it in. Dun, dun, dun. So I could just, whatever. I don't have to write the words all real numbers. I could just do negative infinity to infinity and beyond. And the range, this one goes up and down forever. So the range is also negative infinity to infinity. So I'll just pop that right there. And that's kind of crazy and not enough space. So if I click on this, I can move it down. I can move this down. Okay, so far, there's the example. Let me double check and make sure I put everything in there. On my instructions, I wanted, for my instructions, it says for linear, I have to have graph, check. Slope, check. Y-intercept, check. Domain, check. Range, check. So that linear equations one is finished. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. Y equals absolute value of x plus 2. Okay. Absolute value of x plus 2. Absolute value of x plus 2. I'm going to get rid of some of this that I don't need. You can delete all of it, or you can just turn it off and keep it for later in case you need to come back to it. This is like an on-off button over here. Y equals absolute value of x plus 2. Now I magically typed in that absolute value. There's two ways to do that. One way is inside this keypad where you use that little guy, that's the absolute value button. Or somebody showed me just yesterday, the button above the enter key on your keyboard can also do absolute value bar. Didn't know that until yesterday, or maybe it's today. Don't remember. Everything's a blur. So here's my equation. That's not a line. That is an absolute value. Well, for absolute values, what do I need? Absolute value equations, I need this stuff. I need a graph, table, domain, range, and vertex labeled. Okay, I'm just going to paste that in here under an absolute value one. Let me go down until I find an absolute value. Oh, there's one. Hey, I kind of cheated. this one a second ago in a video that you did not see because I deleted it. So, absolute value, I need these things. So I just typed them in there first, or copied and pasted so I wouldn't forget. Graph, table of points, domain, range, vertex, labeled. Got it. All right. So, got it. Graph, vertex, labeled. Make it bigger so I can see it. There. Screenshot. Boom. Put it in here. Paste. Boom. There is my graph. Graph. Got it. Check. Don't need to write the word graph. Just do the graph. Table of points. Desmos can cheat. It's kind of amazing. So if you click on this little guy right here, edit list. Well, first of all, click on your equation you want to do. Then click on edit list. Then pick table. See where it says convert to table? Convert to table. Look at how cute it is. It made a table of points for me. Oh my goodness. Isn't that amazing? So now Control Shift S. Wait, actually, I don't want it to highlight up there. So there we go. Control Shift S. Bada bing. Bada boom. It's a table of points. And then paste it in. And then just make it to where you can see everything. I don't care how big it is as long as you can see it when you open it up like this. Right? So I can see it. I can see it. There you go. So table of points. Check. Domain. Looks like it's going to go right and left forever. So I'm going to go up and take this guy and paste it in here again. Right and left forever. But apparently I need some more space. Give me some more space. Domain, right and left forever. But this thing does not go up and down forever. So the range is not going to be the same. This time it looks like it goes up forever, but it goes down only until this point. And that point's Y value is at 2. So there's one way you can write it. You could just say Y has got to be greater than, and there's a way to do this. You can underline it. Greater than or equal to 2. That's one way to type it. Basically, I just did the thing that's on the keyboard, but I made it underlined. See how that's underlined? Not underline it, underline it, underline it, underline it. Okay, anyway, greater than or equal to 2. Or you could go to your scrap sheet of paper and you could say, I want to bracket because it actually touches 2. Yeah. Insert equation. Insert, and then equation, okay? Once you've done it once, this might be an option. You can just click that. So, and it's going to go from 2 all the way up to infinity. Remember, brackets on the number that it actually touches, infinity on, or sorry, parenthesis on infinity. And you know, it's annoying. You can't just copy and paste it. You literally have to do a screenshot because Google Slides does not like the infinity symbol. I can take a picture of it, but I cannot just copy and paste. Take a picture and paste. We're good. Copy and paste, not so much. Paste my picture, and then I could just do this instead. It's up to you which one you want. And my vertex is labeled, and it is at 0, 2. So you could write the vertex or just make sure it's in this picture. So that's all the stuff you would need for absolute value. Okay, so each type of equation needs different things. Linears need this stuff. Absolute values need this stuff. Quadratics need this stuff, right? How to get those things if you forget, math tips. How to type, copy, Screenshot is under computer formatting tips, and the instructions are under projects. They're listed as instructions in here, but that's the idea. Okay. Okay, there's my very long video for you. Goodbye. Maybe. Maybe not.